Ben Shapiro is one of these rare birds who likes to post his L's. So what am I talking about here? Here's Ben Shapiro talking about what he likes to do at parties.
I'm the kind of jerk who'd go to a party at Harvard Law, and we'd go to a party, and I would bring a book with me, because if people were boring, I was not going to waste the 2 hours just sitting there.
It's a good time to read right now.
Yeah, exactly. I got in a lot of good reading at these parties. So, I turn down dinner invites. Like, it's very difficult to get me to go out to dinner, even with people who are prominent, because I don't want to. Like, you have to make the case as to why I should be spending the time with you, as opposed to spending the time with my 2 kids, who I like a lot better than you.
So like the thing about the kids, I totally get that. I think that's separate. Let's focus on his college years at Harvard, where he would just don't go to the party, bro. Like, why are you gonna go to the party with a book? But I don't know, John.
What?
Can you relate maybe a little bit?
No, I don't think I've ever taken a book to a party. I've just stayed home and read the book. No, anyway, yeah, no. But the thing about the parties and the kids is that both of those are. It isn't like. Because you said leading into this is something you have in common with him, which I don't have for the party, but I perhaps do for the the posting your L's or whatever. I like making fun of myself, but when I do it, I am actually making fun of myself.
That's not what he was doing.
No, that isn't. Like he said that thinking, this is gonna make me cool. He's the guy he's the most interesting man in the world. He goes to the party and he reads The Fountainhead or what? No, but that's not cool. It's really weird that you would think that that's cool. The only thing that makes me kind of understand why he might now at this point in his life think that is because he has surrounded himself with the sort of people, whoever that interviewer was. Because the interviewer acted as if that was cool. I don't know that interview. I have no idea who that person is, what their politics are. And I get that interviewers are generally not gonna try to turn off the person they're interviewing, but that was not cool, and he just got reinforced in his awfulness. Yeah, you're so much better. Here's the thing, I don't wanna go to a party and talk to a bunch of random people, generally. I do sometimes, it's perfectly fine or whatever. But it isn't because they're too boring. Boring isn't usually a one-way road. You have to know how to talk. Bring a person out of their shell. Bring the conversation to an interesting thing. That is a social skill that he obviously lacks, but he has tried to turn his lack of those social skills into him being superior in some intellectual sense. And he's neither. He's neither good socially nor intellectually. I mean, and he's posting those L's.
It's funny because at least he's consistent. I mean, he had a very similar take in regard to the sexual arousal of women, right? Where he's like, making a woman wet is disgusting. And so I'm a good guy for not knowing how to get a woman wet. Like that's like, you know what I mean? It's like I'm posting my L's but not realizing that I'm posting my L's.
Oh God, yeah, and then it was the L, but then it was like digging the L deeper into the earth with like, well, I talked to my doctor wife and she also
deep. You don't want to hit any moisture. Was that too far?
It's just sand no matter how far I go. Stop saying wet. First of all, don't ever say wet to me.
Okay, fine, moist. I'll say moist.
I'm not even a person that normally that's bothered by, but apparently with Tana it kind of does. Don't say wet.
Listen, female sexual arousal is a beautiful thing, and I think it's disgusting. When men are turned off by that, you should be in favor of it, okay? It is beautiful. How dare you? How dare you be turned off by female anatomy? There we go. There we go.
Was that what I was doing? Anyway, yeah, and the thing is, like, I guess this is a version of the Charlie Kirk question. So I assume there were a bunch of people who would watch that interview and think that's cool. Younger people that want to be like what that was.
You know what? Who are we to? We're not the arbiters of what's cool. So look. If he would prefer to read, I think it's smarter. I mean, he's supposed to be a genius. I think it's smarter to stay home and read.
I would prefer if he would do a bit of reading, actually.
In fact, yeah. In fact, showing up to a party and sticking your nose in a book is pretty it's insulting to the people at the party, right?
It's intentionally insulting.
It's intentionally insulting. So if he's being honest and he genuinely did do that, It's just needlessly insulting. Stay home and read your book. But also, I don't think that it's uncool to want to stay home and read.
No, it's not at all.
I think that that's totally fine. I think it's totally fine to not want to go to dinner parties. I think it's totally fine to not want to go to parties in general. I think our lives on this planet are limited. Our lives, period, limited. So why do things you don't want to do? Do things that you actually enjoy. Who cares whether it's considered cool or uncool?
Yeah, totally.
So do you, Ben Shapiro?
I agree. Life is short, and if you listen to right-wing media, it's probably shorter. So make the most of it while you can.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's totally right. It honestly, it's kind of another L though, because like he's gone to parties and he hasn't ended up having good conversations, and he feels bad about it. So he like says the book thing is like it's my choice. I wasn't fired, I quit. No, you just had bad experiences at parties because you're not social or whatever. That's all it is, and that's fine. Not everybody is.
Parties, especially if you're going to a party where you're meeting a bunch of new people, it requires cumbersome small talk. So I get it.
Yeah, I'm not good at it either. I'm not lording it over him, but I'm also not making myself out to be cool. I don't bring books, I bring board games like a real cool person. You show up to the party with a complex Euro game.
He's not even lying. He's not even lying. You know, some Dungeons and Dragons, right?
The one shot.
Nerd.
And by the way, I prefer people who do not like the small talk over the schmoozers.
Oh God, the promoters?
Yeah, the ones like, hey, they show up to a party, they're like, hey, yeah, like those, I can't stand those people.
Did you go to a party with the Fonz? I think you were hanging out with the Fonz, actually.
But you know what I'm talking about? Those like they just seem like schemers.
I've been to a few like Hollywood parties or whatever, and it's like, clearly you are made for this town, and clearly I am not. I'm gonna go read my book.
The whole conversation reeks of, what do you do? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's more about like, what am I gonna get out of this conversation or this person?
Who the F are you, really, is the vibe I get, but yeah. And it's just, his thing was so like, even with prominent people, like yes, you're getting invited to a lot of great dinners in rooms filled with mahogany. Like I get it, you're really awesome or whatever. It's just so try hard, it's so pathetic. And people should be able to see through that.
Yeah. I like this. I think that we did a good job in covering that. We gave him a little love, but also a little hate. A lot more hate than love, but still.
That's true.
Thanks for watching the Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.